Welcome to Glow Social Club, the space where powerhouse women come to reclaim their health, their clarity, and their leadership. I'm Jasmine Corona, functional nutritional practitioner and founder of Organically Glow and Glow Social Club. Around here, we don't do one-size-fits-all advice. We translate symptoms into strategy and build the kind of structure that actually sustains you. If you are ready to lead your health, your work, and your life with clarity, confidence, and conviction, you are in the right place. Let's begin. Welcome back. Today we are talking about a topic that doesn't just affect teenagers, but it affects women in their adult years, and it is so misunderstood. Acne. Acne has been treated as just a surface level problem. We are constantly told to add more skincare products. We need this new cream. We need to go to the dermatologist and get this antibiotic, or we need to get on Accutane or birth control, spironolactone. But what if there was something deeper internally that was driving your acne? This is for the woman who has been experiencing acne in her late 20s, early 30s, maybe up until your 40s, and you are breaking out and you're like, I am way too old for this. I have gone through puberty. I have done my time. Why am I still dealing with this acne? Like, there is not an answer that anyone can give me. I have been there before, and this episode is for you. So acne goes way beyond just a surface level problem. There are deeper systemic imbalances that are driving the acne. And I see this over and over again in my practice. There are 3 big root causes that drive acne, because we know, again, you have probably tried all the products, you have probably tried all the skincare routines, you have tried going to the estheticians, you have done the chemical pills, you have done all the harsh chemicals you have put on your skin, and you're like, okay, this improved for a short period of time, but like, why am I still breaking out? This is why. So number 1, we're going to be talking about the gut-skin axis. This is the top root cause that I see in my practice. And I can go so deep into this, but I'm going to try to stay on track because there's a lot that goes on under the hood, okay, when we're looking at the gut and how it impacts the skin. It's not just, oh, take this probiotic and your skin is going to clear. No. We want to actually identify what is going on in your gut, in your digestion, and in your detox organs. So this is what I like to call the first pillar, which is digestion, drainage, and detoxification. This is one of the top pillars that I see over and over again on lab work, on GI maps, on Dutch tests. And I do want to say there is a time and place for Dutch tests when it comes to acne. However, it's really not the first place I ever start unless you're doing all 3 tests at the same time, which I would recommend just starting with one test and going from there. So with acne and digestion, drainage, and detoxification, what is happening? What are these organs even helping you with? So number 1, digestion. We need digestion in order to break down our food properly. And on top of that, we need it to absorb the nutrients from the food. If that is impacted, okay, so we have low stomach acid, which can look like bloating after meals. You can have heartburn, acid reflux. Maybe you have been on acid reducers or you take Tums pretty often. This is an indicator that we have low stomach acid, and what happens is we are not able to protect ourselves from pathogens, from toxins, because we have completely took out our first line of defense, which is our stomach acid. On top of that, this leads to nutrient deficiencies. So when we have low stomach acid, we see nutrient deficiencies all the time because we are not properly absorbing our nutrients from the food we're consuming due to the digestion problem. So how does this connect back to acne? So first and foremost, when we are allowing these pathogens and toxins to thrive in our body, This increases inflammation in our body. It tells our immune system, hey, there's an invader. We need to release more inflammatory markers in order to actually protect us. And acne is an inflammatory condition, so we're just worsening that cycle. Next is drainage. So drainage portion is really looking at, okay, how are we using the restroom daily? How are we actually ridding our body of the excess waste, excess hormones, excess toxins, and so on? If you are not pooping 1 to 2 times a day, this is a huge signal that your drainage is completely blocked. That is basically the bottom of the funnel. Another big portion of drainage is your liver health, which we go into the detoxification. So the liver is responsible for so many different functions of the body. I want to say there's over like 500 different functions of the body related back to the liver. And one of them is going to be hormone metabolism. So how we are actually getting rid of excess hormones, how we're metabolizing it, how we are actually able to have hormonal balance, how are we getting rid of toxins and all this waste. Our liver is responsible for that. If our liver is backed up, right? If your valve movements are backed up, what happens is we have an emergency latch that opens up, and guess where that is? Our skin. Our skin is our largest detox organ, and it's like our emergency latch. So all the toxins, all the waste that is just building up in our body has to come out somehow through our skin, and that's where we start seeing all these skin health conditions. It can look like acne, which is probably the most common thing that I see. It can look like eczema. It can look like psoriasis. Any type of skin issue can be related back to your digestion, drainage, and detoxification systems. And this is crucial in, number one, like I said, getting rid of these toxins and this excess waste. We also need this system to absorb our nutrients properly. We know nutrient deficiencies lead to acne, specifically zinc, right? Zinc is super important for skin health. We also have all our fat soluble vitamins. Like everything is interconnected. That is what I want you guys to get from this. And then, of course, if we are experiencing an overload of all these toxins and infections, we need to reduce that in order to reduce inflammation in the body, which in turn is going to help the skin. So that's the most common pillar that I see across the board. I want to say pattern. It's a pattern, right? So that's first and foremost. How do you know this is one of your problems? How do we know this is one of your patterns? Testing. Testing is crucial to actually understanding, okay, where am I at? What are my root causes? What is going on internally that is leading to these symptoms? So that is first and foremost. Of course, we will go through that a little bit more after I go through the next 2 phases or next 2 pillars of root causes. So the big 3 root causes, so starting with the top root cause that I see across the board, this is a pattern that pops up on assessments. This is patterns that pop up on signs and symptoms, on functional blood work over and over again when someone is experiencing acne. We know acne is an inflammatory condition. So anything that is going to drive up inflammation in the body is going to worsen your acne, and then you're just stuck in this cycle until you address the root cause behind the inflammation. So the first one that I see is the gut connection. Okay, this is called the gut-skin axis. So this is how basically the gut impacts the skin and the skin impacts the gut, and vice versa, right? So with the gut, there's a lot going on in the gut. This is actually, if we go a little bit deeper, what I like to see is, okay, how's your digestion? How's your drainage system? And how are your detoxification organs? So this is basically one of the top patterns I see on blood work over and over again. We have low stomach acid. We are not releasing our digestive enzymes. This leads to nutrient deficiencies. Nutrient deficiencies can worsen acne, specifically zinc, right? So if we're low in zinc, we need stomach acid in order to absorb zinc, then that is going to contribute to the acne. We also want to look at, okay, are we actually digesting our food properly and absorbing the nutrients from our food? We also look at our drainage system. Okay, our drainage system is specifically important for getting rid of excess waste buildup in the body. If we are not using the restroom 1 to 2 times a day, if we're having liver stagnation, if we're dealing with mitochondrial dysfunction, if we're dealing with kidney stress, if we're dealing with lymphatic stagnation, this is all going to impact how well the body is getting rid of excess waste. Excess waste, if we're not getting rid of it, it just builds up in the body, and guess what happens? Our skin is our largest detox organ. So everything that is staying in our body, all the waste, is going to come out through the skin. This is why we see so often not just acne, but eczema, psoriasis, any other skincare or skin health condition. We want to look at the drainage system. We also look at detoxification organs. How's your liver functioning? The liver is so important for detoxification, and that is our natural detox organ. I don't care if you hear someone say, we don't need to detox our organ. Yes, we do. We need to support our liver's function. We are exposed to so many different toxins in our water supply, in our food supply, in our air, especially if you live in California. Air pollution is like at an all-time high. We need to support our natural detox organs, okay? And there are so many ways to do this. So that is first and foremost. When it comes to digestion, drainage, and detoxification, we have to make sure all three are in check. We also want to make sure our gut is actually protecting you against any type of toxin or pathogen. So our gut lining is the first line of defense in our body. It's protecting us from these excess toxins, these hidden infections, from entering into our systemic circulation. So this is a term called leaky gut. So eventually, if you have a poor diet, if you're exposed to these toxins, like I said, it's everywhere. We are exposed to toxins. That's just how it is. This can eventually start damaging our intestinal lining. Once our intestinal lining becomes holy, like there's lots of holes in it, these different toxins and infections that are supposed to stay inside your gut starts getting released systemically. This tells your immune system, hey, there are invaders in our body. We need to release all these different chemicals to help us protect ourselves. So then our inflammation levels skyrocket, and then inflammation drives up more acne. So I see this across the board on blood work, like I said, in all our assessments. This is probably the most common root cause that I see when it comes to acne. So let's jump into the second root cause. You don't need more wellness advice. What you're looking for are answers. If you're tired of wondering why you feel off, my one-time functional lab testing packages are your fast track to clarity. This is root cause insight without the long-term commitment. You'll get functional labs, a detailed breakdown of what's really going on, and a short-term protocol designed to bring immediate relief. It's not a transformation, it's a turning point. A way to stop guessing, start strategizing, and take grounded action right now. If you are craving clarity without the overwhelm, head to organicallyglow.com and book your testing package today. Because your symptoms aren't random, they are readable, and I'll help you decode them. The second root cause is going to be the hormonal havoc. I usually say hormones are not a root cause. In this case, they're not technically, okay? So hormones are not a root cause, right? They are just messengers. They are responding to a specific environment. So if your environment is inflammatory, you have tons of inflammation, you have nutrient deficiencies, you have these infections, these toxins, hormones are going to respond to that. And it's not going to be happy hormones, right? It's going to be hormones that are causing havoc. So the first one that I see that drives hormonal chaos, besides the toxins and this digestion, drainage, and detoxification dysfunction, we look at stress. You have probably heard of cortisol if you are on social media. Cortisol was a huge topic last year for a very good reason. However, how people were trying to talk about cortisol, they were just trying to blame cortisol, making it the enemy. It is not the enemy. We have to have cortisol in order to have a solid immune system, in order to be able to survive, to get up in the morning, to make it throughout the whole day. Like, we need cortisol. However, when we are chronically stressed and we are not building resilience in our body against that stress, it accumulates, and eventually our high cortisol levels will drop and we will have basically no more cortisol levels. So this is where we also see the fatigue come in. We see feeling super wired but exhausted. And then on top of that, when our cortisol levels increase, we're also driving up stress in the body. We're driving up inflammation in the body. So again, there's that inflammation again. But why is there inflammation? Chronic stress, right? So this is why I always say inflammation is not a root cause. We need to dig deeper. What is driving the inflammation? So this is a huge, huge, huge root cause that we do need to focus on. This also really triggers a lot of hormonal chaos, right? So the androgens increase. So this is what we see in like PCOS. This is always why we see acne with PCOS, because we're driving up our androgens. Androgens are going to, again, increase inflammation in the body and lead to more cystic acne. We'll even see acne like on the jawline, on the chin. So it's really important to, again, address the reason why there's high androgens. So now that we went over the gut connection, so digestion, drainage, and detoxification, now that we have gone through, okay, what is the root cause behind hormonal chaos or hormonal havoc? Now we're diving into the last root cause that I see pretty often, which is blood sugar. Blood sugar and insulin. These are pretty huge contributing factors, and they're not being talked about enough. So when it comes to blood sugar and insulin resistance, it doesn't have everything to do with diet. And I feel like whenever you hear blood sugar issues, insulin resistance, we automatically assume that, we have to be overweight in order to have blood sugar issues or insulin resistance. And that is not true. You can have blood sugar dysregulation and insulin resistance even when you look healthy. And I think this is why only 12% of the American population are metabolically healthy. Like, that's disturbing. So blood sugar and insulin resistance, how does this drive up acne? So I've talked a little bit about this in a lot of my social media posts, but let's just break it down. So with blood sugar regulation, dysregulation, when we're constantly on a blood sugar roller coaster, so, naturally what happens when we eat something, our blood sugar increases, and then insulin has its job. Okay, we have blood sugar. Let's take this out of the bloodstream. Let's put it into our cells or store it so we have energy for later. Eventually, like most of us, if we're chronically stressed out, if we are only running on cortisol, if we are skipping meals, if we're drinking caffeine all day long and that's it, we're not eating enough protein, if we're eating lots of ultra-processed food, refined carbohydrates, this is going to disrupt that blood sugar regulation. Over time, what happens is when our blood sugar spikes, it's going to spike our cortisol. And then we have this vicious cycle. Okay, cortisol increases, insulin increases. We have inflammatory conditions form, right? We have inflammation increase. Inflammation drives up more acne. So if you have tried everything, you're eating a healthy diet, you are, doing all of the things to support yourself, to heal your skin, to clear your skin, and you're like, I am doing everything. Maybe you're working out a lot. Maybe you're doing HIIT cardio. This can all impact your blood sugar. So I think that's a huge misconception when we think, oh, well, I'm healthy. Like, it's impossible to have blood sugar issues. It's not impossible. It's actually very likely. So what we want to do is we want to look at, okay, what is actually driving the blood sugar issues and the insulin resistance? Is it diet? First and foremost, that is where we're starting. If it's not diet, okay, how's your exercise routine? Are you doing lots of cardio? Maybe that's increasing your blood sugar issues. Maybe that's driving up your cortisol levels because your body's already under immense stress and you're adding more stress to the equation. How is your lifestyle? How is your relationships? How does your day-to-day look? Are you working 12 hours days and you're not taking time for yourself? Like, what is going on with your lifestyle? And then, of course, we want to dig deeper, okay? Infections and toxins can also contribute to blood sugar issues. So if you're like, my diet is great, my relationships are amazing, I'm taking time to nourish myself, I'm doing everything in my power to manage stress, reduce stress, whatever you want to call it, we have to look at these hidden infections and toxins because they can be the culprit behind the blood sugar issues and insulin resistance. Okay, this is a huge thing no one is talking about right now. Infections and toxins can drive up inflammation, which leads to blood sugar dysregulation. And it also damages our cells. Like, we need to look deeper. We need to look deeper. So those are the big three root causes that I see pop up most often in blood work and assessments, in my personal health journey, and of course, when working with clients one-on-one, when they're trying to heal their skin, they have done everything to heal their skin. We need to look at these deeper root causes. So let's dive into how we can actually find out if these are your root causes. So what I always like to do is the wealth audit. So this is something that we have designed and created. So we are giving you clear answers on your root causes behind your acne. We are also providing you a 45-day strategy so you can start addressing those internal imbalances right away. So no more waiting weeks, months for a protocol. You get a protocol all in this one session, okay? So the wealth audit will basically audit all your systemic imbalances with functional lab testing. So when it comes to acne, what I always recommend is our complete root cause panel. If you are leaning more towards, okay, I have acne and I also have a long list of gut health issues, bloating, burping, stomach pain after eating, you are always consuming Tums, we need to look at your gut health too. So then this is where the GI map comes in. If you have done everything and you have worked with practitioners before and you have done lots of work on your gut health, on your liver health, on your immune system, we want to look at your hormones, okay? I don't just run a Dutch test usually. I always run it with some type of blood work because Dutch tests are just looking at your hormones and your cortisol levels. The complete root cause panel is looking at everything in your body. It is a whole body test. So this is why we always like to start with the complete root cause panel because we're looking at your digestion, drainage, and detoxification. We're looking at your gut health. We're looking at the blood sugar regulation and your insulin. We are looking at the root causes behind the hormonal chaos, okay? Are we dealing with cortisol issues? Are we dealing with adrenal stress? Are we dealing with dehydration? Are we dealing with nutrient deficiencies? This is all found in the wealth audit. This is the first step in working with us and really getting to the root cause behind the acne so you can start healing. When it comes to acne, it does take a minimum of 3 months to start seeing shifts and changes in your skin. So it doesn't just happen in one protocol, right? The wealth audit comes with clear answers and it also comes with one protocol because we want to move you in the right direction. That doesn't mean your skin is going to be clear in the next 45 days. Some people, maybe, yeah, if you just needed some small shifts, but for the majority who have been dealing with cystic acne, who have been dealing with acne for months, maybe even years, it's going to take time to heal. And I want to be transparent about that. When I was on my own healing journey and I have gone through this whole process on clearing my skin, and this is one of the main reasons why I got into the work that I do now, it's because I found the root cause and I was able to have a clear roadmap on what to address, how to start healing, and then the skin healed. It was insane. My skin cleared in 6 months. And this was after doing everything and anything in my power to clear my skin. The celery juicing, removing gluten and dairy. My diet was so clean and my skin still wasn't seeing changes. I was trying detox teas. I was trying everything. Once I got those clear root cause answers and a clear plan, I was on the road to healing. So the wealth audit is the best place to start for answers and a clear protocol. If you're looking to transform your skin, okay? I'm talking about waking up in the morning, you're looking in the mirror and you're like, holy crap, are you kidding me? Like, that's me. That's me looking back at me. Like, this is crazy. If you want to go about your day without wearing makeup and feel confident, or maybe just a little skin tint, like SPF skin tint, like that's what I'm wearing right now, a skin tint, guys. Okay, clearing your skin is completely possible with the right plan and guidance. So, like I said, it takes a minimum of 3 months. So you might be the best candidate for our long-term program. So we have 2 long-term programs. We have a 6-month program and we also have a 12-month program. Same process as the wealth audit. It's over an extended period of time. So you're not just getting one protocol. We are working on every layer and every root cause in your body, and that takes time. So about every 30 to 45 days or 4 to 5 weeks, you're getting a new protocol, and each protocol is addressing the deeper layers that have been contributing to your acne. I have had clients clear their skin in 4 months. I have clients clear their skin in 6 months. And these are women who have been on Accutane, on spironolactone, have been on birth control for years. And they're like, I want to get off because I want to have a child, but my skin's going to freak out. Like, I need help. And I'm like, I got you. Don't worry. So throughout that process of working together, we always start with testing so we know the root causes behind your acne. Then we build out these personalized protocols that include nutrition recommendations, it includes lifestyle-based strategies, and on top of that, the targeted supplementation. We're not just giving you vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, all these vitamins that you hear on TikTok all the time. We're providing herbs, we're providing homeopathics, we're providing so many different personalized supplementation. So we are targeting root causes. This is why women can clear their skin in 6 months when they have tried years trying to heal their skin from the inside out. So if that is you and that is something you are interested in, you're like, yes, this is my year. This is a year that I can finally walk out of the house without wearing makeup. This is a year where I'm able to lay out by the beach without wearing makeup and I feel confident in my skin. I'm not hiding from the camera anymore. This is for you. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you guys sign up for the wealth audit, or you guys can also send me a DM to see if, this is the right step for you. We also do have free wealth strategy sessions available. So if that's something you guys want to do, where we chat for 30 minutes to really discuss, okay, what's going on right now? How can we help you move forward? Then that's for you. And we can kind of point you in the right direction. Okay, the wealth audit or more of our long-term wellness plans. So going back to the big 3 root causes, right? So the gut connection, the hormonal chaos due to the chronic stress, and then the blood sugar and insulin resistance. So those are the top 3 big root causes. Again, how do we address that? Testing, assessing, providing you a clear, personalized protocol on exactly what to do to start healing your skin from the inside out. So that is pretty much the episode on acne. If you guys do have any further questions on how to start healing your skin, make sure you guys send me a DM, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you guys. If you're like, I have more questions, like tell me more, I want more education around this, leave a comment and I would love to, have another episode about acne, because this is something that is dear to my heart and I understand how painful and suffering and mentally draining it is to experience acne. So thank you again for listening to this episode or watching this episode. And if you're on YouTube, if you guys can subscribe, if you guys can leave a comment, if you guys leave a review, I would absolutely love that so much. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye. You lead teams, households, businesses, but no one taught you how to lead your health. Most wellness advice wasn't built for women like you, high functioning, chronically fatigued, done with surface level fixes that don't actually work. That's why I created my one-on-one personalized wellness plans. We start with functional labs, we decode your symptoms, and we build a protocol that's rooted in data and designed for your reality. This isn't trendy wellness, this is root cause medicine that leads to restorative care. It's clarity, structure, and sustainable results for women who carry a lot and deserve to feel like themselves again. If you are ready for precision support and a practitioner who sees the full picture, head to organicallyglow.com, book a call, and let's rebuild your energy at the root so you can lead everything else from a place of clarity. If today's conversation shifted something inside of you, if it brought you clarity, relief, or a new way to see your health as a leadership tool, I'd love for you to share this with another powerhouse woman in your world. And remember, symptoms aren't the problem, they are the signal. When you start translating them, you stop surviving and you start leading with clarity. I'll see you next time inside Glow Social Hour.